So here I have an employee table which shows ID, the name, department and the manager ID. So here I see that Alice manages Bob and Charlie and Bob manages Dinah and Eve. Okay. So let's say I want, for each and every employee I want to know the manager name. So here this is a query for a self join, because here this ID and this ID are available in the same table. So this is an example for self join where I say e dot manager ID. So from one table I'm getting the manager ID and from another table I'm getting the employee ID. So Alice does not have a manager. Bob and Charlie have Alice as the manager. Dinah and Eve have Bob as the manager. So consider two copies of the same table, and I am only and I'm retrieving the employee name and the manager name. If I want, I can even retrieve the employee ID, a dot ID as employee ID, and also m dot ID as manager ID. So here Alice does not have a manager. Bob ID is 2, manager ID is 1. So I'm basically just trying to get the names corresponding to these details, which is already in the table, for which I will have to perform a self join here. I'm using a left join, or if I do not specify a left join, I will not see Alice in the table. It's only because of the left join that it is showing me all employees, even those who do not have a manager. So now consider, I want to know how many reports, how many reportees, how many employees is each manager handling. So I should get the count as Alice has 2. See, Alice has 2 and Bob has 2. So now what I can do here is, from this particular query itself, from this particular result itself, if I just say group by manager ID count star. So here I am getting the same thing. So here I have the manager ID and I'm looking for the count star. So on this particular table itself, I'm doing it. So let me run the query and show it to you. So I am grouping by manager name, and here I am getting the result as Alice has 2 reportees, Bob has 2 reportees. Let me just break down the query for you. So first of all, I am looking to retrieve the details. I retrieve some details. Let me just put the from employee E and then join employee M. Now I want to join on their IDs. So I say E dot ID is equal to M dot ID. Now I want to group it by, I can also say M dot ID also, because both correspond to the same details. And here I can retrieve manager dot ID comma manager dot name then I will have to specify in the group by M dot name, and here I will say count star. Count E dot ID. So that will give me, instead of count star will give me all the details. Rather I wanted Oh, sorry, on one it has to be manager ID. So manager ID on one column, and let me get the manager ID on one column and here on the other. So here one Alice is, it's having two people that it is managing, two Bob, he's also managing two. So this is how I form the query. Now consider I am looking for all the employees who do not who are not managing anyone. Okay, I'm looking for all the employees who are not managing anyone. So one way to do this query is select e.name from employee. That is, I perform a left join and I'm looking for where manager ID is null. So one way to do this query is this. Another way to do this query is using select. So I say select name from employee where ID not in, select manager ID from employee. So now this will give me all the manager IDs. So whichever name is not included in this, it should show me the details. Where ID not in, select manager ID from employee will give me null 1 and 2. So here I want to select the names where ID is not null 1 and 2. I think is, let's say, what if I just give 1 and 2? Yeah. So because of that null, it is giving me problem. So this is how we can check self join for employee and the manager, and checking the report count, checking on the employees who do not have a manager. So now in case if I want to use the same query, I can just say where manager ID is not null. So now here it will help to retrieve the same details. So where the employees, those who do not have any direct those who are not managing anyone, can be done in two ways, either by using joins, or I can also make use of in clause. So these are the two ways in which this can be done.